you doing, folks? Brian in Denver, Colorado. Look, it's Colorado. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining. Flat Earth proof. Damn it. This is all you need. So you remember that video, Mountain of Evidence? If you haven't seen it, I will put it in the description. It's a good one, especially for the hardcore skeptics, I think. That guy goes into crazy detail for like an hour and proves it to himself over and over again. And I think in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Anyway, after seeing that, I was like, well, Colorado would be a great one to do that in because we've got lots of 14,000 feet peaks, 14 and change, and there's lots of them, but they don't get any higher than that. They're like, 14.3 or 4, something's the highest. But there's a lot of things that are 14 plus. So, stretched out all over the state. So I found this, so I went online, just started looking for, photos, and I found a lot of like tourist photos and things, people climbing the mountains, taking pictures, but nothing's really marked very well, especially out in the distance. So I found this site and they had lots of these panoramas like this. And these are aerial photographs, most of them, all the ones I found. But look at these cool panoramas, they go all the way up. So they go way out. I don't know. I did some lines all around these things. So you got Mount Princeton over here, which is like, that's almost 90 miles away. You got Mount Massive, which is like 98 miles away. That's 98 miles away. Mount Sherman here at 14 is about 72 miles away. So not a big difference between those two. But, 98 miles is a lot of curvature. It's actually 6,400 feet of curvature. By the math, dun, 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 see, and you can zoom in on them. Mount Sherman here, Mount Massive back there. Way far away. Let's go to the money shot. Anyway, so this site's cool. They got a lot of cool stuff. So this guy, we're going to take this, this is an aerial shot, and we're taking the view from above was made from an altitude of 14,000 feet, 5 miles east of Larkspur, Colorado, March 23rd, 2012. Basically taking them at their word here. I think with what we're going to see here, the difference as far as the altitude of the plane, if it's 500 feet, higher or 1,000 feet even, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't have a model made up here and no geometry and everything of all this, but I think we're talking about some big numbers. So I'll let you be the judge. I looked at some other panoramas. This one says 15,000 feet. And it looks a little different. It's up a little higher. It's not crazy. We're looking kind of more down at things anyway. The horizon's up higher in the shot a little bit. But, not a crazy difference at 15,000 feet. I didn't think. Not enough to account for what we're going to see here. So let's go to Google Earth. Hey, don't you love Google Earth? Not really. Colorado Springs. So here's our guys over here. So we're going to be looking at these lines. I made some measurements all along that panorama. These are our, Mount Massive and Elbert and things like that. There's a guy way down here, which is called West Spanish Peak, which is 130 miles away. Just for fun, the curvature math on that is 11,266 feet. Quite a bit. And here, I'll show it to you really quick. There it is. That's apparently 11,200 and, what did I say? 66 feet below the curve. This peak. Right? Isn't that what we're looking at? Let's look at these guys. So these are our lines because we got Pikes Peak here, which is 31 miles away from our photograph, from our camera. We're assuming. I know. I wasn't there. I didn't take the picture. And if you go see that video, that guy does. He climbs. I mean, he's like climbing through the bushes up into trees and stuff trying to get, he's got like 3 altimeter GPS guys with him. Checking, double checking, checking, double checking a million times over and over again. So we're going to be looking over Pikes Peak here to these guys way in the distance. Like I said, 67 miles. from Pikes Peak, 98 miles from where we're taking this picture. So there's Crestone Peak. You see it peeking out over top of Pikes Peak? So we got all these 14ers, like I said, lots of 14ers. So bam, 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 14er, 14er. All in a nice line here with our Pikes Peak, which you might have thought was the highest mountain in Colorado, but it is not. But it's one of the most famous. So yeah, and then we drop down into the 13s over here. But these guys are 67 miles, which from Pikes Peak to Crestone Peak, just for the curvature from there, if we were standing up on Pikes Peak, would be 2,992 feet from here to Crestone. From where we are in this photograph to Crestone is 6,400 feet. So you take that off of our altitude here of 14,294, and we're at 7,894, which is almost half of our elevation, where we're seeing it right here at the top, from where we're taking this picture from, and at almost 3,000 feet from Pikes Peak. So I mean, we're down here. Comanche over here is 13.2. We're taking our 3,000 off. We need to get down to like 11.3, which, where would that be? I don't know. I'm not a math guy in the model. I could probably do the geometry, but I'll let somebody else figure this out as how far down this peak would go, or how high does our plane have to be if they're lying to us about being 14,000 feet or whatever, somewhere in that ballpark. How high would we have to be to see Crestone Peak with the curvature peeking over top of Pikes Peak, 31 miles away, Crestone Peak, 98 miles away? I think we would have to be pretty high. I think that plane would have to be, a few thousand, if not quite a few thousand feet higher than 14,000 feet to see up over that and see, with the curvature, 6,400 feet of difference to Crestone Peak. I think that would be quite a bit. So yeah, I've been wanting to do this, flat earth proof, Colorado style, a mountain of evidence. What do you think? Go back to Google Earth here. So yeah, this thing was, Google Earth actually tells you here's our Crestone Peak line, and here's their elevation. So we're going back, we're down through the valley here, and we're going to go up, and there's Pikes Peak, boink. Essentially, I think we're not going right over Pikes Peak right there, so that's why it's not as tall as we started out over here. But Pikes Peak, and then back down the elevation to where we started. We're, of course, in a plane up here, flying. This is the ground elevation, but I don't see any curve on this thing. Come on, Google. This should curve 6,400 feet. That's not right. This is 7,000 feet where we're starting. It's 14,000 back down to, we get really down here, 58. In the river there, back up. But where's the 6,400 feet? I guess we're supposed to assume that this is just sea level, and you assume the curve, don't you know, that how this works? You just assume that there's a curvature, but you never account for it. All right, 9 minutes. I think this is a pretty good proof. Like I said, this is a cool website. They got lots of cool panoramas. Everything is marked. But I think this is pretty good. So, can't play. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you have a good evening. Leave a comment. Debunk this if you must. If you can. I hope you're all well. Peace out.